We're going to be answering a few questions today, and the first one says, I'm new to the Amex Gold Card. I currently owe around $2,000 to my card, but my statement balance is $400. Am I okay in zero interest if I just pay off the whole statement balance and worry about the next amount in the next statement? The short answer is yes, but since my payment is due in 2 days, I just want to show you guys a real example for better context. So here you can see there are two different balances and then the minimum payment. Your total balance is the total of all charges on your account regardless of when the charges were made. Your statement balance is the total of all charges that were placed during that billing period. So for example, my billing period was from August 25th through September 22nd. The total of those charges is the statement balance and is due almost a month later on October 18th. So to avoid paying interest, just make sure you pay your entire statement balance. You always have an active or open billing period, so you don't have to pay those charges until the billing period closes. I personally prefer to pay my card once a month because it's just easier for me to deal with my finances once per month. I also have a Discover card that I use just for my streaming services, and the due date for that card is 3 days before my Amex card, so I usually pay my balances off on the 14th of each month. You can choose to make payments once a week, multiple times a week, multiple times a month, whatever works best for you or whatever helps you be more responsible. And since this person also asked about interest, I will also take time to just let you know that with the Amex Gold Card, you do have the option to enable the pay over time feature, in which you'll be allowed to carry a balance. If you do not want this option on, you just go into settings and you turn it off. That will switch your gold card over to a charge card, and any purchase you make from that point forward will be due in full each month. And if you don't currently have the option to carry a balance on your gold card but you would like to, it's the same thing. You just go into settings and you turn the pay over time feature on. And you can also turn the pay over time feature on and still pay your balance in full each month. The next question is, does anyone know if I didn't receive a limit on the gold card upon approval, is it unlimited? If you log into your account on your computer, right under your total balance, you'll see something that says balance details. If you click that, it shows you the exact definition of what pay over time means. So you don't have a spending limit, but there is a limit on the balance you're able to carry on your card with interest. And it also tells you what that limit is on the side, and they also tell you in the welcome packet when your card comes in the mail. So for example, I have a pay over time limit of $35,000. In theory, I might be able to make a purchase of $50,000. However, I cannot carry a balance of $50,000. I can, however, carry a balance of $35,000 with interest. So if you have a pay over time limit of $35,000 and you make a $50,000 purchase, you would have to pay a minimum of $15,000 because you could not carry over $35,000 on the card. I hope that makes sense. Amex is also able to assign you a spending limit. I don't believe you start off with a spending limit unless you have other Amex cards that you maybe missed a payment on or something like that. Or maybe something about your credit profile seems questionable, so they assign you a limit. And if you don't start off with a spending limit, but you are later assigned one, I imagine it's also because of maybe a missed payment or because of some misuse of the card. As long as you pay your statement balance in full by the due date, I don't see how you could end up in a situation where they assign you a spending limit. The next question is, hey y'all, I'm new here. Just wanting to get the basics of the gold card. I think I'll be trying for that one first. Is this an everyday spender card or more for large purchases? So I feel like there's a lot to answer here. I'm coming up on my 1 year anniversary with the gold card next week, and I wouldn't necessarily say it's for large purchases, but I also have to ask what kind of large purchase. Is it a large purchase like you're replacing the air conditioning in your home, or a large purchase like you're spending $4,000 on flights for your family? I wouldn't say the Amex Gold Card is for large purchases where you're not earning an extra point per dollar, but then again, I wouldn't really say any card is like that. Most people would tell you to apply for a new card if you have a large purchase coming up. That way, that money goes toward a sign up bonus. If you're not into that, I would say a card like the Capital One Venture Card would be a nice option because you're earning 2 miles per dollar on all non travel purchases. The Capital One Venture Card also gives you a credit for TSA PreCheck or Global Entry and gives you 2 complimentary visits to the Capital One lounges each year. But if you want to stick to Amex points, I would say it's better to earn 1 point per dollar than no points per dollar. And depending on what you're buying, you can use Rakuten to earn extra points. Rakuten can allow you to earn over 13 points per dollar depending on what you're buying, but at the very least, you might be able to get 2 points per dollar. The other part of this question was, is the Amex Gold Card an everyday spender? I think it can be an everyday spender, and I'm gonna give you a few examples. If you spend enough money on food, the Amex Gold Card can be an everyday spender because you'll earn enough points from dining and groceries each month that only earning 1 point per dollar on some other purchases won't be as detrimental. For example, let's say you spend $900 a month on food. That's 3,600 points. And let's say you spend an additional $400 per month on other purchases where you're only earning 1 point per dollar. That's a total of 4,000 points per month for a total of 48,000 points per year. However, let's say you only spend $300 a month on food and $1,000 on other purchases where you're only earning 1 point per dollar. That's only 2,200 points per month and 26,400 points per year. And whether it's worth keeping is going to depend on a lot of different factors, because 26,000 points is really only going to get you one round trip flight in economy per year. And if you have a family, that might not be enough, but if you only buy flights for yourself, that might be perfect. It's hard for me to sit here and say that the Amex Gold Card is a great card for everyday spending. What I would personally consider an everyday card is something that had better or more well-rounded categories. I think the City Premier card is a great example of this, and right now you can get 10 points per dollar on hotel purchases, attractions, and rental cars booked through the city travel portal. I think the Hilton Honors cards are even better examples of this, but like we talked about in my last video, Hilton points don't go nearly as far as Amex points, and a lot of the time, depending on how much you travel, all the extra points you're earning, even if it's an extra 100,000 points per year, might not even be worth it. I think the Amex Gold Card is obviously really great for giving you extra points in the two categories that most people spend the most money in, outside of bills. I recommend looking at your statements and seeing where you currently spend the most money and what category specifically, because you might think that you spend a lot of money on food, and while you might spend even more money in a different category that you hadn't even considered. If you're someone who doesn't really want a trifecta or more than one card, I would recommend you apply for the card that gives you the most points in the category that you spend the most money in. Personally, I really like the Amex Green card and the Chase Sapphire Preferred card, because while you can still earn 3x on dining, you can also earn 3 to 5 points on travel, depending on which card you choose. I think if you only want one card or you don't spend enough to support having more than one card, choosing either the Amex Green card or the Chase Sapphire Preferred card is going to be a better option for you, and the annual fees are lower. However, you really need to sit down and do the math, because for example, let's say you spend $15,000 a year on dining and groceries. With the Amex Gold card, you would earn 60,000 points per year, and with the Amex Green card, you would earn 45,000 points per year. But let's say you also spend $8,000 a year on hotels. With the Amex Gold card, you would only earn 8,000 points, and with the Amex Green card, you would earn 24,000 points. In the first example with dining and groceries, you'd miss out on 15,000 points by having the Green card. But in the second example with hotels, you would miss out on 16,000 points by having the gold card. And if you do the math and find on average you'd earn the same amount of points no matter which card you had, why not go for the green card and save $100 on the annual fee and also get a clear credit? That's it for this video. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.